Welcome back to Workout Wednesday. We are back here, and just a shout out to Coach Jeremy and his team. If you want to find them, you can find Jeremy on Instagram, Jeremy the Coach. You can also find him on Facebook, Jeremy Ombash, and on Twitter, Jeremy the Coach. He can help you get like Gentrix and Evans as well. Now, here in studio, I am joined by our nutritionist, Paula Bosire. And what we want to do today is sort of bust some of those nutritionist myths that have come up throughout the years, and she can just tell us exactly what it means to be a nutritionist and how they can help you change your life. Paula, karibu sana.
Thank you for having me.
Now, just to break it down for people who don't have an idea about nutrition, what is it exactly? What is it about? Just very briefly.
Okay, so nutrition is just your way of eating. This is cutting out processed foods, it's cutting out artificial sugars, and just eating natural food. It's as simple as that.
Now, we know some of those myths like the sugar, don't take too much sugar, don't take too much salt. But how do you bring in nutrition into your daily life? How does it work?
Okay, so you need to work your way slowly from down up. Start with the basics like drinking water. Water is the most basic, I think, fundamental unit of nutrition. So start slowly by drinking enough water, incorporate more fruits in your diet, cut out processed meats, and by processed meats and foods I mean anything that has any chemicals or is processed, is not natural. Like when you go and buy your beef from the butcher, that's okay, but now when it's processed and now they're making sausages and whatnot, that's not fine. So just incorporate, eat natural food, you know, the way even people in the village eat. I'd say, you know, they eat a lot of traditional vegetables, a lot of fruits, regular meat, not processed. So incorporate that slowly into your meal plan. Don't start everything at once, because now if you are eating badly and then now you start eating properly, you go all cold turkey, you might get shocked. You might fail because, you know, you're having unrealistic expectations. So start slowly, increase your water intake, see how your body is responding. Cut out sugar the next week, see how your body is responding. By the time it's 2 or 3 months down the line, you would have built up on the small blocks to enable you build up a lifestyle which you need to continue with for the long run.
So let's say I was to come and see you and I want to cut out all of the Mars bars that I eat and all of the popcorn and crisps.
Yeah.
What sort of advice would you give me? Like, how would we start off this journey?
Okay, we would start off slowly. I wouldn't tell you cut off everything at once. I would tell you, if you're having a Mars bar every single day of the week, try and have it twice this week. See how you feel about that. Because you know, once you start cutting out the bad stuff, your body reacts in a good way. And once you feel you're having more energy, you're not feeling too tired when you're doing your things, then you'll be like, okay, so the 3 Mars bars that I cut out are really doing something for me. So the next week we'll say, cut out 1 more. How are you feeling about it? Eventually we'll get rid of it and we'll say, okay, just have it once a week. So just slowly ease into the process.
And
yes.
How does it work with your business in terms of, like, if I was to sign up, how does that work?
Okay, so when you come to Paula's Fit Kitchen and sign up to see a nutritionist, we will give you, first of all, an assessment test. Okay, so the assessment test will let us know, you know, things like your age, your level of activity, do you have any allergies, do you have any underlying conditions that we need to take into account, because, you know, eating really affects any kind of, you know, underlying conditions that you have. And then we'll ask you, how is your schedule like? So now we will also ask you, what kind of meals do you like? So if you say, I'm a chicken and beef person, we will create your meal plan according to, you know, what you like. So we consider all that.
Like, because when people hear nutritionist,
yes,
they think, now I have to start eating broccoli, I have to start eating sukuma wiki, I have to start eating all of these.
Nutrition is really wide. There's really many food options, you know. Nutritionists will tell you eat a lot of vegetables, but it doesn't mean that you only have to eat vegetables. Eat a balanced diet. Do you have protein on your plate?
And
yeah, you can have nyama choma. You can have nyama choma. Now, what now matters is portion control. But make sure your plate has protein, it has vegetables, it has carbohydrates. Don't try to skip out on any of those food groups.
What about fried foods? Like, if I love chips, for example.
Yeah.
Like how is it incorporated in the nutrition?
Okay, so in case you love fried foods or chips, now we find different ways of cooking to make the calories much lower. So say if you love fried chicken, we'll tell you maybe get an air fryer, or we'll tell you why don't you roast your chicken. You can roast your chicken easily. You don't even need an oven. You can just use, you know, makaa, and, you know, if you have the barbecue. So we'll just tell you to use different methods of cooking. If it's for the fries, you can cook the fries on a pan with less oil. So you're still eating fries, but it's with lesser oil.
Yeah. Now you've mentioned a word that I don't like so much.
Yes.
Cooking.
Okay.
If you're someone who doesn't like cooking, what other options are there?
Okay, so we have a meal prep service where you can order in and actually get all your meal prep delivered to you. So like the way we give you a meal plan, we tell you in breakfast you need to eat this, lunch you need to eat this, dinner you need to eat this. We do the same with the actual meals. We have a kitchen and then we deliver the meals for you. Alternatively, if you cannot afford to do that, you can do something called meal prep by yourself at home. So let's say, I mean, you work Monday to Friday, or you work Monday to Saturday. Take Sunday off, go to the market. It's all about preparation, because, you know, when you prepare, it's hard to fail. And when you have the good food in your house, it's hard to fail. That is the first step for success. So go shop on Sunday, prepare some of these meals and keep them in the fridge if you have a fridge. Just take some time out and try and do a meal prep and prepare ahead. Then you will always have healthy meals.
Okay.
Yes.
And cheat days, does your program encourage cheat days, or how does that work?
I call them less nutritious days, because I feel like there's really no bad food. They're just less nutritious. So we encourage you to eat 80% clean, and the 20% you can indulge. So whichever day you feel like, if it's a Monday morning, if it's a Friday evening, if it's a Sunday lunchtime, make it all in your favor. Like say if you're going to meet friends out there, if you know you're going for a meeting, you can make that your cheat day. But we usually tell you 20% of your overall meals should be, you should treat yourself. So the other 80 is clean. Yes.
Now there's a word that gets thrown around a lot, organic.
Organic.
Break it down.
Yeah.
Break it down for us.
So organic is simply food that is grown without any chemicals. No chemical fertilizer, just organic fertilizer. So it's just natural food. Yes.
And just your journey as a nutritionist, how did you end up here? What happened in your life that you ended up being a nutritionist?
So I didn't always want to be a nutritionist. I went to Strathmore and I did accounts. So then I never really liked accounts, and I was into working out. So I had been working out at this particular gym for a while, and then I was like, oh, but some people are working out and I can't see them see some progress. You know, what could be wrong? And I was into healthy eating at the time, so I started speaking to some of these people. I'm like, okay, so you've been here for 6 months, I've been seeing you. What is it that you're not doing right? They're like, oh, I'll still go and eat fries after this. I'm going to have soda. I'm like, that's the problem. So I started doing my research. And then I did a course, and then I started the consultancy. I employed some nutritionists as well, so we are a team. And then it also started from how I grew up. You know, I grew up in a traditional setting, and most of the meals that we used to eat growing up were the traditional meals, the herbs. Like, you would get sick, my grandmother would tell you, end up on a fence, go pick some aloe vera and, you know, deal with it, you know. And that was the way of life. So I feel like healing through plants also has been there through my upbringing. So that is also a big motivation. Yes.
And you've mentioned exercise. How big of a role does exercise play when it comes to nutrition?
Exercise is equally big, you know. I feel like people say nutrition is 80% and then exercise is 20%, but I feel like they're both 100%. You give both 100% effort and you'll get the result. Exercise is equally important. It's good for heart health, you know. It will help you burn calories faster if you have goals that you're reaching. It will improve your mood. You'll be generally feeling better. It's also great for mental health.
Okay, and you were talking about how you became a nutritionist. How long have you been doing it so far?
I have been doing this for 5 years now.
Wow.
Yes, so like I said, I started with myself. I lost 25 kgs. I don't know if you can pull up some of those photos. So I lost 25 kgs myself. So the people around me, I saw a few people around me who needed the help, like my own aunt and, you know, a few family members. So that's how I started. So I started telling them, okay, just eat this and this and this. It will work for you. And then now after when I got certified, then I started, you know, doing it professionally for clients.
So what for you would you say defines success when it comes to nutrition?
Success for me as a nutrition, consultancy is the transformations, and it's not even physical transformation like, I've lost 10 kilograms or Paula, I've moved, a dress size down. It's, the overall feeling. Like 2 weeks into the program, you're feeling more energetic, you're feeling like you can do your chores easier, those small progresses. I feel like that's, that's what success means to me. And then, when you eat properly, there's so many changes that happen to your body. So clients will come and tell you, oh, my blood pressure is now normal, or I'm no longer diabetic. So that for me is success.
And for the people who are looking at home and think like, this is something that I'd be interested to get to do, how would you advise them? How would they go through that process?
Oh, through the process. First of all, go to school, get a certification. We have many schools around, many universities. You can do the nutrition course. You can also go online and do the nutrition course. Yes.
Can this be a full-time thing?
Absolutely. I've been doing this full-time now for 5 years. I don't even do the accountings anymore. So doing that and also doing the meal preps has been a full-time job for me.
And what are some of the challenges you feel you've encountered, especially breaking down some of those myths or people who are resistant? What are some of those challenges?
Challenges that I've encountered. One big challenge and myth that I've encountered is that healthy food is boring. A lot of people think, oh, so I'm going to eat healthy. Are you going to boil the food for me? Or we're not going to put salt or anything. That is contrary to popular belief. Yeah. If you even go to my Instagram and look at the kind of food we prepare, and it's healthy food, it looks good, it tastes good. So that is one of the biggest myths that I have encountered. People actually believe that, healthy eating is boring.
And how do you motivate people to stay on board?
To stay on board, I feel like I work through a kind of a self-motivation program where I empower you to motivate yourself. So when you see the progress, I feel like that is enough motivation. So I tell you how exactly to spot your progress, how are you feeling. So once we identify that and we talk and I motivate you, I feel like it's enough.
So how many people are sort of involved with this now in terms of like where you're consulting?
Where I'm consulting. So we have 3 nutritionists at the moment, and then for the kitchen we have the chef, the delivery people, and 2 other cooks. So about 10 people are involved. Wow. So it's also creating employment for other people.
And for the people who join the program, how many of them stay on, and how do you retain those customers?
That's another thing. So the program we do is a 90-day program only. You can decide to continue if you need more help from me, but I believe 90 days is an enough time for us to transition you from your way of eating to whatever you're eating, a clean eating lifestyle. So you see, in the 90 days, you will give up some weeks, we will motivate you, you come back. So it's a whole process. So in the course of, it's not a 1 month thing, it's not a 1 week thing. That's also the other myth I encounter, that, oh, I want to lose weight in 4 weeks. You took almost 5 years to gain this weight. How are you going to lose it in 4 weeks? With a juicing diet that's going to make you weak, it doesn't work. So you need to give yourself enough time to go through the process and also for your body to adjust. So start slowly with the water, remove sugar in the next 2 weeks. The other 2 weeks, try and remove fried foods, just like that, until now it gets into your system. How you feel is what will make you continue.
And diet specifically, we see quite a number of diet trends coming in, like keto diet, and how do you view those diets?
Any diet that works is one that you can stick to. So if you feel like keto works for you and you can stick to it, go for keto. If you feel like intermittent fasting works for you in terms of time schedule, like let's say you're not a breakfast person or you're busy the whole morning, so you prefer to say have your meal at 11, do that. But remember, with all these diets that you're doing, if you have a goal and say the goal is weight loss, if you're not on a calorie deficit, it's not going to happen. So whichever diet you choose, make sure you're hitting your goals, whether it's calorie surplus or calorie deficit, in order for you to hit the goal.
Explain those terms.
Okay, so calorie deficit is when you're eating less than whatever you are burning. So that will make you lose weight. Calorie surplus is when you're eating more than what you're burning in terms of exercise, physical activity, daily activity, you know. So if you're on a calorie surplus, you'll automatically gain weight. If you're on a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. So whether you do keto, whether you do intermittent fasting, if you're not on either calorie surplus or calorie, you know, deficit, which will make you lose weight according to your goal, nothing is going to happen. So whichever diet you choose, maybe you're choosing it because of, you know, choose it because of time constraint, you know, preference, like you're such a meat person, then you say, let me do keto because it's more meat and fat, I don't like vegetables. You can do that. Intermittent fasting because of time, but not because it will magically work out for you, no.
How do you determine what sort of diets are healthy and the ones that aren't?
For me, a diet that's healthy is one that includes all food groups, whole food groups. So that is protein, carbohydrates, vitamins and fats. So I feel like any diet that cuts out any of the food groups is not sustainable in the long run. And for you to stick to a way of eating, let's not call it diet, because diet has really been misused. It has to be sustainable. It has to be something that you can continue with for the long run.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, in terms of the norm of breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
yes,
are you a proponent of that, or is there something that needs to change?
That
like
is
the timings.
The timings. I feel like you see, at the end of the day, that's also another myth. It doesn't matter what time you eat. I know they say, oh, don't eat past, you know, 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Fine, if you eat earlier than your bedtime, it's better for digestion, but it really doesn't matter. Your accumulative number of calories for the day is what counts. So whether you choose to decide, okay, today I'm just eating dinner, I'll eat this whole meal for dinner, then you can do that, all your calories in one sitting. If you choose to break it down, fine. But I feel like when you break it down, you have more meal options. And then it's also with the norm. You don't want to be, it's breakfast, people are having breakfast, and you're just there. So, yeah, either way, can go either way.
Can go either way.
Yeah.
And just the normal 8 glasses of water a day, where does that come from, and how important is water?
It's just drink enough water. I'd say just drink enough water. I wouldn't put any number on it. They say, you know, drink half of your body weight, but just monitor yourself. Start with 1 liter, see how you're feeling. Increase to 2 liters. Monitor things like your pee. Is your pee clear? How is your pee? How is it looking like? Then increase according to that.
And when would you say you can really start to feel changes when you undertake like a specific diet?
As early as 14 days. I feel like the first 14 to 21 days, you will start seeing changes. Like, first of all, you start losing the water weight. If you know you've gone into clean eating, you'll start having better sleep. You know, you'll start, of course, going to the toilet more because you're drinking more water. So those, I feel like those are progresses. It doesn't have to really show on the scale, but just even how, as you feel like, let's say you came to work today, you went up the stairs and you're like, oh, you're so tired. But after the 2 weeks, you're like, oh, now I can, you know, move properly. You know, the scale is still showing I'm still the same number of kgs, but I can move properly. So those small measure of progresses matter too.
Okay.
Yes.
And juicing, because that's also a trend that's become extremely popular even here in Kenya. Some advice about that?
Some advice about juicing. Okay, so we have smoothies and we have juicing. Smoothies is when you blend the entire fruit, including the fiber. Juicing is the liquid minus the fiber. So smoothies and juicing are both good. Yeah, smoothies will give you more fiber. It's a better way to, it's an easier way to take in more vegetables if you're not a vegetable person. Same to juicing. And also you get the nutrients more faster. But it shouldn't really be a complete meal replacement that you're trying to target for weight loss. It should be an addition to whatever you're doing. Yeah. And juicing is good because then you get a lot of nutrients, but don't just juice and not eat. Juice and also eat, unless you're doing something like a cleanse, you know, for other purposes of healing, but not really for weight loss.
Okay, and the sort of food that you really enjoy, how do you incorporate that into,
how do you incorporate
into your
that?
diet?
So for that, it's methods of cooking. Like we spoke earlier about fries. You say you love fries. If you have an oven, do some baked potatoes. It will be the very same as fries. If you love fried chicken, do some roasted chicken. It's much healthier and it has way lesser calories. If you love, so now you just incorporate what you love, but you healthify using other methods of cooking. Because any food item you can really healthify, apart from the processed meals.
So
the
that's
processed foods,
the
like
cereal,
the sausages, the whatever, all that. But natural food, you can always make it in a way that is healthy.
Okay,
Yes.
and maybe you can just, as we wind up, just give people some motivation and if they want to begin this journey, like what can they do?
Yes, so the motivation I'd give you is you're really not where you are a month ago or 2 months ago. You're progressing. We are progressing. So if you started a month ago, you'd be somewhere right now. So it's not too late to start. Just begin and then incorporate everyone around you so that you don't feel like it's prison. I mean, you're being jailed and you're eating boring food. Just incorporate people around you, make it fun for yourself. There's tons of recipe. Use the internet properly. You know, we go on the internet and do funny things. Go online there, look for healthy recipes, try them out, go to local markets, see what's there. Sometimes I go shopping, people ask me, okay, so where do you get that? I'm like, all these things are in the local markets. Go to your local markets, find the herbs, and then talk to older people. What are the remedies
like
they
your
used to use? Exactly. Talk to your mambambogas, talk to your grandparents, your grandmothers, grandfathers. What remedies, you know, did they used to use back then? You know, I feel like we need to bring the culture of healing through
because
plants
our
and medicine back.
grandparents used to live very long and healthy lives.
Very long and healthy, and they used to eat very well. So I feel like this generation has lost that part of us. And I'm glad that I was brought up by my grandparents because I have carried it with me and I'm going to give it to my children. So I feel like it's something that should be, you know, brought back.
And what sort of, no, you've mentioned children. How do you, when it comes to sweets and things like that, how do you stop your kids from eating them, or what is acceptable?
Give them better options. You see, kids are what you teach them. And whatever they see you doing is what they will do. If they see you doing that green smoothie, they'll try, Mommy, let me try this. Even if it's bitter, they will have tried, you know. So the next time, make a better one. That's how you incorporate the kids. Like the sweets, you can bake, you know, using other options like bananas instead of actual sugar. You'll still have pastries, they'll still be sweet. It's all about swapping and, you know. And there's so many sweets. Give them fruits, you know, make them fruit pops. It's all about being creative.
Okay, and where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Paula's Fit Kitchen, Twitter and Facebook as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, this was awesome and very, very informative. Thank you for joining us on Workout Wednesday. That's our time. I'm Mukami Wambora. Have yourselves a lovely day.